Manulife and China Bank. Two companies you can trust. Two top institutions in the financial industry. Teammates, partners, working together to handle every aspect of your finances. From day-to-day to your future plans. Personalized to your story, so you're ready for life's every twist and turn. We have you covered, starting with your kids' dreams, to providing a secure future for your family. Working to build your wealth, and ensuring your wealth works for you. Always with you in sickness and in health, through the best times and the worst. All just for you. Let us be your partner. Manulife China Bank Life. Life with a plan. Let us help you get started today.
Binondo, 1920. Here, 100 years ago, men of courage and vision founded China Bank to help a community of struggling but worthy merchants and traders achieve their dreams. They were driven by an impeccable code of trust and respect through the hard times and the good times. That's how China Bank successfully partnered with 5 generations of loyal clients. Today, China Bank keeps pace with evolving technology while remaining grounded on integrity and prudence. China Bank, celebrating the past, embracing the future.
Times change, but values remain.
What makes an organization successful? Is it being a top player in sales and market share? Acquiring new customers? Or generating a healthy income and net profit? It's no secret that to achieve all of these, a company needs its most valuable asset, people. Most businesses have one or more senior personnel whose experience, skills, and knowledge are vital to achieving company goals. Losing them can have adverse effects, including missing company targets, investing in human and monetary resources to find a replacement, and reduced confidence among stakeholders like investors, partners, and customers. One solution to protect your business from all of these is Keyman Insurance. But what exactly is a Keyman Insurance? A Keyman is someone who contributes significant service or talent to the organization and its customers. And a Keyman Insurance protects you against the sudden loss of this key person by providing enough liquidity to ensure continuity of business and aiding the company in recovering from the loss. Many firms insure their premises, equipments, and goods against fire, theft, and flood. But many miss the opportunity to insure their company against the loss of key people who help run it successfully. Manulife China Bank Life can provide you with the innovative Keyman solutions to serve your company's needs. With Keyman Insurance, we'll protect your company from the possible loss of your key people to ensure your continued success. Contact Manulife China Bank Life now to help you get started.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ronnie Austria, welcoming you to Manulife China Bank's Business Resilience in Time of COVID-19 webinar. As MCBL celebrates their 13th year in the industry today, we have brought together speakers to talk about reinventing your business to stay relevant and create value for customers during these trying times. During the past 6 months, we have also heard a lot about resilience, and today we make business resilience more tangible and achievable through the solutions that we offer. And to make this afternoon even more worth your while, we are raffling off 10,000 pesos worth of Sodexo gift certificates, so make sure you stay for that. To welcome you all and officially open our program, let us watch this video from China Bank's Chief Finance Officer, Mr. Patrick Cheng.
Good afternoon. Thank you for attending this webinar presented by MCBL. MCBL is a combination of two entities, Manulife and China Bank. Normally, we give you financial advice about day-to-day banking, advice about loans, advice about how to grow your money through investments, and very important right now, advice about protection. Today we present to you people who are creative, innovative, and will also talk to you about how they pivot in their business strategies. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the talk. Thank you and stay safe.
Thank you, Mr. Cheng. Now let's get right to the program by introducing our first speaker. He is a successful entrepreneur and proud owner of the highly rated Chinese restaurant Wang Fu and Coal and Ash International Systems Corporation, a supplier distributor of systems furniture, metal filings, aluminum partitions, raised flooring, and seating. He is also China Bank's brand ambassador. He will share practical tips and learnings on how to adapt and change business strategies quickly. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Richard Yap. Mr. Yap, I think you're on mute.
Sorry. Hi. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for having me here. As a former ambassador of Manulife and now of China Bank, it is an honor for me to be here with you today. And first of all, I'd like to say happy 13th anniversary to Manulife China Bank Life. More power to you and more years and more anniversaries to come. Well, first we'll start off. Some of you may know me as an actor and as a model. But first of all, I was really a businessman when all this started. I graduated in business and I was always in business. I was in corporate life before. But I was also running a business. I was formerly a franchisee of Chowking. And now we have our own restaurants, which are Wang Fu. And I also handle Coal and Ash, which is a systems furniture supplier. I'm here to share some practical tips of being resilient in the times of COVID right now. So let me go right to my, sharing of my tips. Let's see the first slide. Okay. Since this pandemic started, there was an ECQ, which meant that everything was locked down. We weren't allowed to go out. And all the malls were closed, all the shops were closed, our restaurants were closed. So how can we survive in times like this when we can't even sell our products? So what we did is we had to innovate. We had to bring our products to our customers. That's where this comes in. We have to meet your customers where they are. So instead of waiting for people to come, since people weren't allowed to go out, we had to bring our products to them. We had to bring our food to them. That's why we had to do takeout and delivery. At that time, takeout was not even an option because people were not allowed to go out. So delivery was the only way to go, but we didn't have our own delivery staff. So we had to collaborate with Grab Food, Food Panda to do our deliveries for us. But at that time, there were so many people who were using these apps to deliver all these items that they needed, all the essential items, that we were having a hard time delivering our products. So we also had to innovate and set up our own delivery teams. So this helped us a lot because delivery is only really 30% of the business in a restaurant. So that is what helped us survive during these very trying times. And it also help us grow our brand, because instead of just limiting it to where our stores are located, now we had the option to deliver even to farther areas because we could deliver our food to them. So this widened our services to other areas. This is where online presence comes in. We had to build our online presence also because people who were not familiar with our brand, since they don't go to the malls that where we are, they didn't know that they could experience the type of food that we were serving. So we had to build our online presence. We had to be more visible on social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We had to do all these things, and so that people would be aware that they could come to us and they could order food from us even though they're far away. So this gave us a little bit of relief because it helped our sales. So this offset what was subtracted by people not being able to come to our restaurant. Okay, so next slide, please. Yeah, and secondly, we had to optimize our workforce. We have to cross-utilize your staff to stay profitable. How we did this is they have to multitask, because at that time there was also no public transportation, so a lot of our staff had a lot of trouble coming into work, and not everybody could come in also, because like in our restaurants, there's no dine-in, so we didn't need any wait staff. So what we had to do, since there was a no dine-in policy at that time, we had to think about saving the jobs of our other non-essential staff, which was the wait staff at that time. So everyone would be able to survive and not just the company. So we reassessed our business options, and we trained our staff to do other jobs. So they had to multitask. They had to do other things like the wait staff. We had to train them so that they would also deliver our food. At first, it was only for the nearer areas, but some of the wait staff had their own motorcycles as well. So we trained them to be able to deliver also, like, to be like the Grab food riders or the Grab, Food Panda. So we had to train our own team and make us set up our own delivery staff so that we could also not rely on just the other apps as well. So, you really have to reassess what it is that your business needs are at this time, because it's not all the time that things will remain the same. There's a constant change, especially now. This has been really trying for everyone. Okay. After that, we have to revisit our customer experience. The next slide, please. So we revisit our customer experience. We expected changes in consumer preferences, because there were a lot of people who didn't have jobs also. They didn't have, they were trying to be thrifty. So we found out that, people were ordering for sharing. So now that everyone is at home, they were ordering not only for themselves, but also for sharing for their whole family. So we had to come out with, people wanted to get the best value for their money. So this is where our offers came in. We offered affordable packages or promos so that they would be able to share and find that the products that they bought were at a very reasonable price. And it was really value for money. Especially now, like right now, we have the mooncake promo. It's a package of a lot of food items that you can buy, which comes out cheaper than buying it a la carte. So, but in order to give the same quality and dining experience, we had to ensure that there was a safe environment, not only for our customers, but also for our staff, which means that we had to make sure that everyone was safe, nobody was sick in our staff, and that because if one person gets sick, we could give that sickness to everyone who tastes our food. No? So we had all of them tested. Our restaurants were sanitized. And of course, we had to improve our takeout packaging. If our takeout packaging was just basic when this pandemic started, now we had to ensure that it was safe. It was before, during, and up till the delivery when it arrives to the customer. The packaging must be it must not be flimsy, you know. So we had to make sure that all these things were done so that we could deliver our food with the same quality as when you eat it in the restaurant. Okay, so I think that should be everything that we've done in the last few months. It has helped us a lot, and it has helped us survive. So I hope that all the other restaurants will also learn from the tips that we gave. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Yap, for all the practical tips that you shared as we now face a different landscape. Of course, we will see more of you later. If you have questions, just type it in our Q&A box, and our speakers will answer it during the panel session. In the meantime, we will raffle off 2,000 pesos worth of Sodexo gift certificates. Let's see. Our first raffle winner is... Congratulations, Mr. Brian Christian Bernardo. Our representative from MCBL will get in touch with you on how you can claim your prize. Once again, congratulations. Of course, we have more Sodexo GCs up for grabs shortly, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Now, I have the honor of introducing our second speaker. He is a globally renowned, multi-awarded furniture designer and manufacturer whose masterpieces were featured in several Hollywood films and TV shows such as Ocean's 13, Maid of Honor, Total Recall, CSI Miami, Suits, and K-dramas Oh My Venus and Cunning Single Lady. Actor Brad Pitt is also known to own several of his works. He once designed a 5-piece collection inspired by Star Wars icons created in collaboration with Disney. He is the recipient of multiple international accolades, including the first Design for Asia Award ever given to a Filipino designer and the first ever Asian Designer of the Year Award. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Kenneth Cobonpue.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone, and a happy anniversary to China Bank, to Manulife China Bank Life. Thank you so much for inviting me here. I'm currently in Cebu right now. I've been here since lockdown, and I want to share with you a small journey of what we were doing before the pandemic and right after, what we did to stay creative and resilient. And I'd like to share with you some slides. See here. Down here, let me just see. Hope this works. Okay. Yeah, perhaps many of you haven't heard of what I do, so I'd like to share with you. I'd like to share with you what I do and my journey. So I'm a furniture manufacturer based in Cebu, and these are some of my works. I currently sell and manufacture under my own name, and I sell all over the world. Many of you have probably know me because of this bed, which Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, when they were still together, used to sleep in. And this bed has been in a lot of videos, and it's been in a lot of magazines, and perhaps without this bed, I wouldn't be speaking in front of you here today. So we currently sell around the world through our own stores, through our own showrooms, and these are some of the collections which made me known and famous all over the world. This is my first design called the Yin and Yang, and so I was very known for this open, very, very transparent furniture. And this is the Peacock chair, which won an award in Las Vegas a few years ago. It beat 3,000 other entries and won the best chair. So it's my interpretation of the traditional Filipino peacock chair. This is called the tilt, made out of wood. It's one of the most difficult pieces to do. It won an award also in New York for craftsmanship. And this is, of course, the bloom, which is inspired by the flower. It comes in several colors, and this is something that was very, very different because it's not the traditional woven Filipino product. And this, I was always very creative. To me, design should be all about fantasy, imagination. And when I was young, I always imagined what it would be like to have circus performers performing and hanging everywhere in your house. So I made my own life-size sculpture called Limbo. So inspiration comes from everywhere. And we were very inspired before COVID. Like grass, blades of grass became the inspiration for the Yoda chair, which I'm sure many of you know. Even a bowl of noodles became the inspiration for the noodle chair. And this is my own version of sheep. I asked myself, what made a sheep beautiful? It's this furry hair, this big thing, this mass of hair. And so I took away, stripped everything that was not essential, made my own version of sheep, and I put it back in its natural habitat where it belongs. So life was very creative. Even a Coke can became the inspiration for the Lola chair, which won another award in Hong Kong for the best Asian design award. Normally, this award is given to traditional industrial giants like Sony, Apple, and Hyundai. And in 2005, they gave it to a Filipino for a rattan chair. And I collaborate also with Disney, and I made the Star Wars collection earlier last year. And this was the first time that Disney allowed another designer to put its name beside its brand. So it's Star Wars and Kenneth Cobonpue. These are some of the pieces in that Star Wars collection. So I designed other things also, like a bamboo bicycle, very different things, my own tricycle. And I wanted to romanticize and upgrade the tricycle, which we all love. This has cup holders, this has GPS, and yeah, it's very light, and it's kind of still Filipino, but reinterpreted in a totally different way. Yeah, designed also my own car, which has been in a cover in a lot of books about sustainability, made out of bamboo and carbon fiber. So, and of course, one of the hallmarks in my career was I designed the setting for the APEC World Leaders Meeting, inspired by the rice terraces. So life was really very creative before COVID. You know, I designed also the airport in Mactan together with other architects. And this won, in fact, the world's most beautiful airport award. Those of you who've been there have seen how beautiful the interiors is. It's like the inside of a hull of a boat. It's all made of wood. I designed also a bamboo church. I collaborated with an architect here in Cebu, and it's also got a nomination for a World Architecture Award. And then COVID came. And so the challenge was how to stay creative, how to stay resilient. You know, the factories closed, we couldn't sell our furniture anymore, and life just suddenly stopped. Now, creativity is not easy when you're working from home, because you can't just expect it when you're having a Zoom meeting. Creativity comes to you as a burst of inspiration anywhere, you know, when you're eating or when you're sleeping, and you just can't call everyone to say, hey, I've got a great idea, let's all meet. It doesn't happen. And so it was very, very difficult for employees to work from home, because home to a lot of people means sleep, means rest, you know, and to now to expect them to work from a place which has always been there, to them a place of comfort, was very difficult. So our productivity went really low. So we devised a way, you know, okay, before that, this is my office at home. I get bored easily, so I put things around it. every once in a while, I take a break to enjoy the things around, and I keep on moving places. Yeah, like this is another one I set up also, another corner of the room which has a window. So it's important when you're working from home that when you're bored in one space that you move, trying to find maybe inspiration or different perspective on life, depending where you look at. So this is what we did with our employees. We have this called start of day and end of day monitoring. So they are all expected to fill this out at the start of day with just simple number 1 to 5. First is to explain how you're doing. Second, if you have any issues in the family with a focus on health and well-being. Third is to state your location. The example here is on the right. This is actually a text message from a leadership team. The fourth is the task, what you plan to do during the day. And 5, if you have any concerns. And at the end of the day, they're supposed to message the same thing to their supervisor or to me. And we found that this has been very, very productive. Our productivity jumped, almost threefold, because now we were able to monitor what they were doing, and it's also helped them discipline themselves. In addition to that, we couldn't sell anymore physically in our showrooms back then, so we had to strengthen our online presence. We didn't have much content because we weren't really prepared for it, and we couldn't anymore photograph our furniture in spaces. There was a lockdown. We couldn't come together. So we started to reinvent ourselves and do everything digitally. This is an example of an actual table which we photographed, and we built these settings around it. So we all had to work now to create this digital rendered settings, meaning these are not real. These are all created on a computer. And like, for example, this chair here, this is called a papillon. It's like a hammock. And we put them now in these environments. This is still work in progress because it doesn't look so real, but you get the idea. This, for example, is a design of mine called Apollo. It's like a tree house, and we put it now in its setting. These are not real. These are all rendered settings, but we try to make them as real as possible. So this is what we had to do. And this is me again, trying to still stay creative in the house. So trying to move around in different corners of the house, which is not always easy. So I also tried to pick up new skills. So I went on YouTube and I started to paint. I started to draw. I started to build these little settings for my furniture. This is the voyage bed, which you've seen. It was always inspired by a boat. So I tried to put it in a boat, and this will become the storyboards for our future catalog. This, for example, is a design of mine called Little People. They're actually little people that we build and make it into screens. So imagine a kind of like Gulliver's travel, where this guy wakes up and he's tied down by all these little people. This is Harry, which you saw. I tried to imagine a shepherd boy, leading all these Harrys, my sheep, up the mountains. This will become the pegs for our new catalog. And we started to become very, very creative. These are all actually new images using, this is a halo lamp. It's actually a lamp. And on the other side is actually a mirror frame. And we tried to experiment. So we had a lot of time at home. So my call to them was reinvent ourselves, try to experiment, try to do things which we've never done before. And so these are some of this is some of the output that we have. I realized then we started to create some designs during COVID. This was our challenge. It was very difficult to do, believe me, because it's hard for us designers to come together, to work with the craftsmen, to try to work with their hands. But these are just some of the few designs that we were able to do. We know how important it is now to stay outdoors, but we can't. So we tried to bring the outdoors in. And part of the challenge was to create these planters. So inspired by these beakers and instruments that we used in chemistry, we did this. This is called alchemy. And when you grow your own plant there, it's like having your own little experiment hanging inside your house. This is the sage. It's a sofa that's inspired, of course, obviously by a big leaf. And it's also similar to that story called Thumbelina. And so this was the table that we tried to put trees around it. Again, part of the creative imaging. These, of course, again, this is the palm chair. On the left is again a rendered setting. It is not real. And on the right, we tried to, we tried to do our new storyboards. So we used this time when we could not work to just work on our online presence, on our catalogs, and this is a design of mine also inspired by the movie Up. Yeah. And so, so these are some of the, these are designs inspired by islands where we, and it's great for social distancing. This is called Babar. It's like a big elephant, which I've always wanted to ride one. And then I turned it into an office, a small office space. Actually, the ears are like cork boards. You can open all the doors, And this is one of the last designs I want to show you, which we did during the pandemic. We realized that people may not be able to afford anymore to buy big pieces, so we have to make small pieces. And part of the challenge there was to design like a jewelry stand. So we thought of birds, we designed different birds, and what if these birds were holding all the jewelry and resting on an island? So we started to make these birds, we started to make mock-ups, and this is the finished product. It's made out of a porcelain. It's a new design called Amelia. Yeah, and this is another small thing that you did. It's a clutch. It's inspired by those, the sabongeros who brought their roosters inside their little cages, which they brought around. So I designed a clutch bag like that. Yeah, and that ends my presentation. So it's been a challenge for us to stay creative and resilient. I hope that by sharing with you this small journey of mine, you'll all be inspired to also stay creative, resilient in whatever you do. So stay safe and strong. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Cobonpue. Your creativity and the way that you work with your team during this pandemic are truly inspiring. And of course, we will see more of you and Mr. Yap later. If you have questions, to our dear guests, if you have questions, you can always just type it in our Q&A box, and our speakers will answer it during the panel session later. And now we will raffle off 3,000 pesos worth of Sodexo gift certificates. And let's see who our winner is. Congratulations to Miss Sherry Leong. Congratulations, you won 3,000 pesos worth of Sodexo gift certificate. A representative from MCBL will get in touch with you on how you can claim your prize. At this point, we have heard practical tips on how your business can stay relevant for your employees and customers during this time. Our next speaker will talk about how you can make your business resilient regardless of situation, be it a pandemic or a loss of a key officer in your company. She is a single law practitioner and lecturer with primary concentration on estate planning and settlement. She's also an award-winning author with 5 books published under her name. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Attorney Victoria Hilado.
Good afternoon to all of you who took the time to attend this webinar. It is a privilege to appear before you together with Mr. Richard Yap and Mr. Kenneth Cobonpue. Allow me to greet Manulife China Bank Life on this important 13th anniversary and milestone. Unfortunately, this anniversary is being celebrated during a pandemic where all the rules for business and social interaction have been turned upside down, and we find ourselves living and working in uncertain times. The taxing conditions we find ourselves in demand that we take steps to protect not only the people we love, but also to safeguard our businesses and the people who run it. An unusually high number of people have been lost during this pandemic, people who are crucial to the running of any business, large and small. As the pandemic has not yet ended, tragically, we may expect to continue to lose people, the loss of which will have a devastating impact on our businesses. This is precisely why Manulife offers Keyman Insurance, a business tool which is particularly relevant during the pandemic. What is Keyman Insurance? Keyman Insurance is a type of insurance taken out by a company on the life of key persons in its organization. Thus, the term Keyman Insurance. Unlike regular life insurance, which most people are familiar with, Keyman Insurance is purchased by a company or a business on the life of a key employee. The benefits paid out upon the loss of the employee are paid not to the family of the employee, but to the company who purchased the keyman insurance. Next slide, please. Who are these key men in your business? Well, they are the usual suspects: the president, the chief financial officer, the chief operating officer, heads of critical departments such as your electronic data processing, human relations, etc. In a pharmaceutical company, it may be the head of research and development, your chief chemist, or your scientist. In a garment business, it may be your head designer or head sewer, or even your beater or embroiderer. In a restaurant who prides itself with having a Michelin star or other local or international recognition, it may be your chef and even your maitre d'. In a hair salon, it would be the main hair and makeup stylist and so forth. Next slide, please. After viewing the slides of Kenneth and Richard and listening to both their individual stories on how they continue to weather the pandemic, it is clear that these two persons are themselves examples of men who are key to their business. While they are the most critical persons in their companies, they are not the only key men in their businesses. Kenneth is clearly an artist and the creative brain behind the exceptional furniture designs. Perhaps he currently has an assistant designer, or he may possibly consider training a designer to stand in for him when he decides to go on vacation, or even when he retires, so that his business can carry on. Kenneth may engage the services of a new graduate designer who he will train over the years to think and create like him, and who will help ease the load of his business. Kenneth may bring the head designer on trips to attend the Milan Furniture Fair or other international conventions to expose him to the world of international design. Considerable expense and years are involved in training Kenneth's head designer. But what would happen if Kenneth's head designer were to suddenly pass away? Clearly, the loss of his head designer would be a severe blow to Kenneth on a personal level. Moreover, there will be an adverse impact on Kenneth's business. Kenneth's company will have to search for another person to replace and train to be the head designer. This is no mean feat. In fact, in countries like the United Kingdom, apprenticeships are paid and fought for and involve years and years of training and continued expense. This emphasizes the importance of key people in an industry who have acquired experience through years of hard and expensive training. If Kenneth had secured keyman insurance on the life of his head designer, the keyman insurance paid out to Kenneth's company will mitigate the disruption of the business caused by the loss of the head designer. Again, I hasten to emphasize that monetary benefits can never replace a lost life. The benefits derived from the keyman insurance may be utilized by the company of Kenneth to engage the services of a headhunter to find a replacement designer of equal caliber, to train the replacement, to pay for the trips abroad, to expose the trainee, and even to contribute to the salary of said replacement. In the case of Richard, who has a Chinese restaurant business, he may have engaged the services of a special chef from China, Hong Kong, or Taiwan, who specializes in one of the four major Chinese cuisines: Chuan, Lu, Ya, and Huawei. I hope I got that correct. Previously, Richard may have traveled to these countries in search of and to interview and pick just the right chef. Again, the sudden passing of the selected chef would be a blow to Richard's Chinese restaurant business. On the other hand, if Richard's company had purchased the keyman insurance policy on the life of his chef, the proceeds from the keyman insurance will help Richard pay the unexpected expenses of searching for a replacement chef, for the next travel expenses to Hong Kong, Taiwan, or mainland China, and for the training of said chef. Next slide, please. Why else would a company secure keyman insurance other than the cases I mentioned earlier? Next slide, please. In cases where the keyman is so crucial to the business and the business cannot continue without him or her, the benefits will help in the winding down of the business. Of course, the hope is always for the business to be able to carry on despite the loss and without the key person. In other cases, substantial loans extended to companies, or in cases of mergers, the agreement may have provisions requiring that the crucial key people in the business are retained and that keyman insurance is obtained on their lives. In closing, while keyman insurance cannot totally replace a lost valuable employee, it can, at the very least, mitigate the effects of loss by providing funds to the company to assist in finding a replacement, paying the cost for the search for the replacement, training the replacement, and even to give financial benefits to the family of the employee who has passed away. I hope with this presentation that you're able to recognize the value of keyman insurance as provided by Manulife and realize how crucial it is in the pandemic times we find ourselves in. With that, I will end my presentation.
Thank you, Attorney Hilado. We appreciate your insights on keeping our businesses resilient by ensuring that our vital personnel are protected. Before we proceed with our Q&A, we would like to acknowledge the presence of our media friends and bloggers from national broadsheets, blog sites, and online news. We have with us today ABS-CBN, Business World, Manila Standard, Daily Tribune, Blueprint Magazine, Lemon Green Tea, Annalyn.net, and Ed Uy. Thank you again for joining us this afternoon. And now, we are back this time with Richard Yap, Kenneth Cobonpue, and Attorney Hilado to answer some of the questions that you've shared in our Q&A box. So, welcome back. First, we have a question here for Attorney Hilado. Attorney, in the absence of an estate settlement plan, what is the most important document that we have to prepare in case of an untimely demise?
I think we have to make a distinction. When somebody speaks of estate settlement, talking of a person who has passed away, and you are clearing the assets to be transferred to the heirs with the BIR. Now, if you're talking about estate planning, you're actually considering how to plan the distribution of your assets to your heirs prior to your death. In answer to the question, I suppose the question really is, what happens if you die without having a plan?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you don't have a plan, the law steps in and will distribute your estate in accordance with preconceived ideas of what the law thinks you would like to be done. However, it is always best to prepare. One way to prepare is to make a will. However, it is expensive to make a will, and it is expensive to probate a will. Under our laws, all wills must be probated. So you can actually achieve a more tax efficient and a cheaper way to settle your estate if you were to plan it by making donations during your lifetime, or in the case of the person who is going to pass away, they may not care anymore because they're not spending, so they will just pass away and let the law settle whatever is at issue.
I see. It's really very important, given all of these things, to really prepare prior to anything happening, right? Okay.
Yes.
We also thank you for that, Attorney. We also have a question for Mr. Yap. Mr. Yap, your restaurants have shifted to digital cashless payment and contactless delivery. So major challenges when you shifted to this strategy.
Well, one of the major challenges was that we didn't have our own delivery team at that time. So aside from using and collaborating with GrabFood and Food Panda and all these rider apps, we also had to create our own system of delivery so that we would be able to augment our delivery system. Aside from that, since people were shifting to cashless payments, there were major challenges because of the unreliability of the bank apps that people were using. Sometimes the internet was not working. Sometimes the apps were not working. All their payments could not go through. And a lot of senior citizens were not used to using technology for paying online. So we had to adjust. We're just so glad that um, there are those apps like there are those that Pabili service that instead of paying online, you can actually the rider will be able to pay for you, and then when it arrives to the customer, then that's the time the customer can pay the rider. So that was also very helpful for us. But there are also other means of paying now, but mostly it is online. So that was mostly the major challenges were unreliability of internet services and the applications. But of course, due to the other systems that were being offered, we got through all this.
I see. Thank you for that, Mr. Yap. And I think even the customers are still adjusting just for them to be able to get the services that you are offering. Right. Thank you for that. We have a question. I think this is also connected to the question that I have for Mr. Yap. For Mr. Kenneth Cobonpue, sir, what were the major changes in the import-export trade that you encountered during the pandemic? I think
Okay.
you're on mute,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah. It's okay now. Yeah. Um, yes. It's the well. Everybody's been affected, of course, including, of course, the export industry. The good thing, though, I've noticed was during towards the later parts of months, when people stayed at home. Actually, the home
Mhm.
market went up because people started to see what they were missing at home, you know, and that little light or that bed that they put off, they're now going to buy because they're spending more time in their houses, and so this is welcome actually for us because now people are investing in their homes. And in fact, I got a client who was saying, "Wow, this lockdown is so expensive, because now now we have to redecorate our homes." I don't know if you find the same thing. No?
Yeah,
So you have the same experience. Yes.
I see.
Yeah. Um, yeah, but hopefully, like everything else, it'll all improve. No, we haven't really stopped production since the lockdown. We've gone on a skeletal force, and now we're trying to complete all our orders. Yeah. Is there any other question? I think. Yeah. Um,
Hello. Yes. I'll repeat the question. Mr. Cobonpue, can you please tell us the story on how your work ended up being featured in our favorite K-dramas?
yeah. Actually, I'm still trying to figure that one out, right? Because I don't really watch K dramas except people tell me it's there, it's here, it's there, it's here. I think it has to do with our showroom in Korea, which is located near Gangnam area, and they have a lot of people, famous people from show business going in and out of the showroom, and they pick out the pieces which go towards these shows. It's truly an honor to know that these pieces, which are crafted in Cebu, made in Philippines, can go anywhere around the world.
Yeah, thank you. And that's really
Yeah.
something that's very something special. And we have a question here for Sir Richard. You mentioned that you used to be a franchise owner of Chowking. What have you learned from the franchising experience?
Well, I guess if you're someone who is new to the business, it's uh, it's a positive if you get a franchise because you don't have to learn everything yourself. The company that you get the franchise from will teach you everything, and it will show you the systems that you need to get the business running. But there are also negative effects if you franchise because, of course, your costs are more expensive rather than having uh, your own business. But I guess it's just like you're paying for tuition so that you don't have to relearn everything because everything is taught to you already, you know.
Mhm. I think that's really the beauty of franchise. You have a system that you can just follow. Okay, and then we have a question here for Attorney Hilado. Attorney, Are there any changes in the estate tax brought about by the train law?
Well, as you know, the train law took effect in January 1, 2018. And there were drastic
Mhm.
changes there. First of all, the estate tax, which used to be as high as 20%, died to 6%. And donors tax,
Mhm.
which used to be as high as 15%, dove to 6%. So you can see that the government has taken a lot of steps in order to reduce these crucial taxes, which a lot of people failed to pay in the past because they were just too high. So right now we have the donors tax, the capital gains tax, and estate tax all at 6%. So this is an incentive for people to pay the right tax and to declare their assets or the assets of their parents when they die. In particular, the government also is considering extending the estate tax amnesty, where all the people who died prior to December 31, 2017, can avail of the lower tax rate of 6% based on the values of the properties at the time of death. So if somebody died in 1940 and you failed to settle the estate of your grandfather who owns the house you are living in, you can settle the estate of your grandfather and pay a tax of 6% without any penalties and based on the value of the property in 1940. So
Mhm.
the government is considering extending this for another 2 years, but it is still a bill which is pending before the Senate. Thank
I
you.
see. Actually, attorney, with you with what you said, I think everybody who has a business really has to consult somebody professional to be able to address those kinds of changes in the train, right? So we have a special question here, actually, from our Manulife President and CEO, Mr. Richard Bates. From this is for Sir Kenneth, as a creatively minded person who is running a large company, how do you segment your time during the day to switch between both roles? So you're a creative person and you're also at the same time running your company.
Yeah, creative. That's always been a challenge. That's actually a good question. I think that creativity is like just no different from any sport. It's no different from playing basketball or dancing or getting really good at something. You have to keep on doing it and devoting certain time for it. So I fix a few hours of trying to come up with something every day, and sometimes inspiration comes, sometimes it doesn't, and then I just zone out. In fact, there's a lot of questions here regarding that of how to stay inspired. What I do is
Yeah.
I try to read a book, go online and watch a favorite movie, try to make myself happy, because if you're not happy, you can't be creative, you can't be inspired. So that's really
Mhm.
important that your mindset is there. And then afterwards, after that, sometimes it's productive, sometimes it's not. But I devote that hour for creativity, and then afterwards, then I go run the business. So you need a really good balance, both of I think of and discipline, both from creativity and actually running the business. Dealing with people, dealing with all the problems of the factory.
I see. Okay, so thank you for that. We have a question here for Sir Richard. Yep, this is really a showbiz question. So since we are on the topic of reinvention, as an actor, how are you reinventing yourself and your showbiz career during these times? Are there any new projects that we can look forward to?
Actually, I just did a movie for Heaven's Best Entertainment. I don't know when it's going to be showed, and I don't know where, but they took a chance during this COVID, and we shot the film, and we did it very well because nobody got sick. All the safety protocols were followed, and we all got tested before and after also. So that was adjusting to this COVID situation. But I guess in adjusting and reinventing myself, I guess uh, we have to adjust to what comes to new roles and being flexible. Whether if I was known for doing rom-com, maybe in the
Yeah.
next few months or next few episodes or next few projects, we might be doing some other things like action or being a contrabida. We have to be open to doing all these things because I don't think we can just stick to being something that you cannot be stagnant. We have to change ourselves all the time. So I guess that is something that will depend also on the offers of the networks that are uh, offering us roles now.
Seeing you in a contributor role is something that I have yet to see, and that's very interesting. But I think this question we actually have so many questions coming in today. So this is for everybody, for all the speakers. What do you do when you experience burnouts or when you feel like your creativity is drained? So how do you recharge? Can we have the uh, Miss Attorney Vicky? What do you do, attorney, when you feel drained?
When I feel drained, I watch murder movies and detective movies. That gives
I,
me that perks me up more than anything else. Just murder
I
and detective movies.
so it's really just putting your mind away from what you are
Yes.
working on.
And normally
I
when I watch them, I normally can tell who's the murderer. And so to me, it's also a bit of a challenge when I'm watching those.
I see. So speaking of movies, probably we can ask this question also to Mr. Yap. What do you do when you're drained or when you're burned out?
Actually, this COVID, this pandemic has been really draining for all of us. I think a lot of people have been stressed out, and I guess I'm not, you know, I wasn't spared from that also. I was really stressed out at one point that I really didn't know what to do because, of course, businesses were shut down, but we still had to pay our suppliers and all that. Uh, what I did, I just let go and I prayed. And I to lessen my stress, I just worked out. Went to my I have a home gym, so I go to the gym and work out so that I can forget about all these things for a while. But I guess prayer has a lot of played the major part, and having the support of your family. So just let go for a while and think about it, and or stop thinking about it, and things will just work themselves out.
I see. Thank you for that, Mr. Yap. And yeah, it's really just a matter of trying to refocus and trying to get strength from somebody higher than us. So can we have, I think this was also addressed by Mr. Cobonpue a while ago, but are there any other things that you do when you feel drained, when you feel burned out?
Yes, I tried to watch a Richard Yap film. No, just kidding. Yeah, Richard and I, not many people know, but we were actually schoolmates in Cebu. Yeah.
Oh, I
Uh,
see.
yes, we've been good friends ever since. And so I already answered that a while ago. So yeah, maybe we can move on to the next question.
Yeah, I think we have a question here as well for both for Mr. Yap and for Mr. Cobonpue. During these trying times, when in-person interaction may still be limited, how do you maintain a connection with your customers?
Okay. For us, it's really doing everything online. There are people who message us through whatever social media apps that we have, and that's our way of, we try to connect with them through that by answering their questions, answering whatever concerns they have. Since face to face, like usually during Mother's Day, I usually give out roses and on for our diners in Wang Fu, but this year we couldn't do that because of the pandemic. So it's by like we have. I just do by something by like giving out messages on Instagram or Facebook so that at least we'll still be connected with our customers.
I see. Thank
Yeah.
you for that. What about Mr. Cobonpue?
Yeah. Well, for us, since we're a worldwide business, right? 90% of our customers we really never see. I mean, I personally don't see. So it's always been in online. So we still try to keep that communication going. You know, and yeah, it's no different actually from what it was before COVID. You know, because uh, yeah, because of the nature of our business.
I see. Okay, so they're really used to the online interaction already.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
we have a question here for Mr. Yap. I think a lot are really into food business right now. So is it more profitable to have your own delivery service versus just assigning the delivery service to third-party providers?
Actually, we would rather have other people do it, like the delivery services, because of course it meant setting up another unit in your business. But at this time, we had no other choice but to do that. And in order to save the jobs of the people who were working for us, also like the wait staff, since they weren't doing anything, now they have something to do. At least they have a salary, and they were able to earn a living. So it was not a question of is it going to be more profitable if you have that or not, but it was a question of trying to keep the business afloat and trying to help these people, have still have their jobs and have their income.
I see, I see. You really get to see the concern for people when you're working at this point in time, that it's really the people that matters the most. And I can see that
Yes.
in the way you handle the team. Thank you. This is a question from the media. What this is for everybody actually. What were your biggest learnings from the challenges of this pandemic? Can we have attorney for this? What's your biggest learning from this pandemic right now?
I think the fact that everybody's cooking and baking and selling is really fantastic. People who never used to bake or cook are now into that business. And you can see the entrepreneurial spirit of the Filipino. And it's just something great to watch.
I see. Thank you. So yes, a lot of people are now expert cooks and expert in baking. Thank you for that, Mr. Cobonpue. What's the major learning that you have
Yeah.
from this
Well, I've
pandemic?
learned two things. I've learned two things during the pandemic. The first is that, of course, family and relationships are so important. You know, and when we're working, we tend to take them for granted. And now we find out that they're so we were actually reconnecting our relationships and repairing, mending all our relationships and making them richer. And the second, I realized that by doing nothing, it seems during the in the house, it seems that the days are so short. The days fly by very fast. And it's just amazing
Yeah.
because we always think that when we do nothing, the days are so long, but you just find that there's not enough time, even when you're not doing anything. And so it's made me realize that time is really so precious. And I think
Mm.
the hardest part for everybody is how to go back to work when we've been, when we usually wake up late in the mornings, we sleep early in the evenings, and now we have to go back again and have that discipline to go back to work and keep a strict, job.
Mm.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Mr. Richard Yap. What's your major learning during this pandemic?
I really agree with what Kenneth said about family. This has been a time for rediscovering, uh, you know, because like he said, when you're away working, you sometimes you're not even there when your kids are growing up. So this time has been very good for everyone who has had the time to be with their family. But it has also shown us that what could be there today could also not be there tomorrow. So we have to treasure everything that we have now. Um, Everything has changed so much. A lot of businesses have closed down. So we are very thankful that we are still surviving. And that is what really this year is all about. As what Jack Ma said, this year 2020 is really about survival. If your business can survive, then maybe we can get back to normalcy in 2021.
Yes, exactly. Thank you for that. I think that's all the time that we have for this afternoon. But before we let, I'd like to ask if you have final tips for our guests today. So can we start with Mr. Yap?
Um, I guess what this has taught us is that we have to work together with all the stakeholders in our business, which means that we work together with not only our employees, but also with our landlords. Because in order for us to survive, we all have to give and take. And we are very thankful that our landlords have been very helpful, and um, they have been, you know, they have given us the chance to be able to survive this pandemic by working together with us and lessening our, let's say, our lease on the storefronts that we have. And we have also been collaborating with our employees, and they've been very cooperative. Like, they've been doing other jobs aside from what they applied for, and it has worked not only to benefit us, but also them as well. We have to learn to adjust, adapt, and learn from what this pandemic has given us, has brought to us, and we have to find new ways of doing business.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Yap. It's really all about reinventing yourself, right? And the business right now. Can we have final tips as well for Mr. Kenneth Cobonpue?
Yeah, this pandemic actually put a pause in all our lives, and we have to make the most out of it. You know, it's taken we've this has given us time to refresh and think what we really want from our lives, from our careers, from our work, and many of us have discovered other things, like
They will go
Attorney
down
Hilado said.
5:30 pa
Many
raw.
have gone to cooking, farming, growing anything to survive, and perhaps there we find our passion. We find other things that we never knew we were good at. And this is one way of looking at this pandemic, you know, instead of something very negative, as a time for us to just pause and rethink. You know, rethink our businesses, our own lives, our relationships, and put them in the right direction. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And of course, last but not the least, let's hear from Attorney Hilado.
Thank you. You know, my family has been very fortunate during this pandemic. We have not been critically affected, and with the good fortune comes a deep realization that there are so many who need so much help. I recall one of the janitors in our office. He had been requesting for assistance. So, but I recall one day when he told me he was asking for help again, and he told me that he had walked 7 hours to get to his janitorial job in Taguig, only because there was no public transportation. And when he told me the story that he had left 100 pesos with his family because that was the only amount of money he had left, and he walked 7 hours to get the gig from, I think it was from Bulacan. I really couldn't imagine how difficult it must have been for somebody like him. And we see on a daily basis so many people struggling, and not it's not only enough that they are really going lower than what is has they've ever experienced. So I think it is the time now that people who have so much should give, even if it hurts, because they hurt more than you. And that's all.
See, thank you for that, attorney. It's really us helping each other out during this time of pandemic. It's not just keeping ourselves, our families, and our businesses afloat, but everybody, going through this together so that we'll be able to face a better 2021 in the future. Okay, so thank you once again, Kenneth, Richard, and Attorney Vicky. It was indeed a very, very insightful afternoon. I hope our guests are still with us because we will now be raffling off 5,000 pesos worth of Sodexo gift certificates to one lucky registrant. So let's see. Congratulations to Mr. Alan Lee, a representative from MCBL will get in touch with you on how you can claim your prize. To officially close this afternoon's webinar, we have with us Manulife China Bank's President and CEO, Mr. Sandeep Deobacta.
Magandang hapon.
Thank you for joining us in this afternoon's webinar. We hope you enjoyed it. We're thankful for the trust you have given us, and please know that we stay committed to making every day better for you. We want to ensure that you have access to our financial solutions and that your needs are properly addressed. Our financial sales associates are available to assist you, especially during these times. Once again, maraming salamat.
Thank you once again, and Sandeep, and to our attendees, thank you very much for spending your afternoon with us. We'd like to hear your feedback on this afternoon's webinar, so please simply scan the QR code on screen and answer our 2-minute survey.
Yes, I brought.
Should you have any questions on the discussions today, please feel free to get in touch with the China Bank or MCBL personnel who invited you to this webinar. This has been your host, Ronnie Austria, thanking you once again for joining us this afternoon. We hope to see you in our future webinars. In the meantime, stay safe.
Manulife and China Bank. Two companies you can trust. Two top institutions in the financial industry. Teammates, partners, working together to handle every aspect of your finances. From day to day to your future plans. Personalized to your story, so you're ready for life's every twist and turn. We have you covered, starting with your kids' dreams to providing a secure future for your family. Working to build your wealth and ensuring your wealth works for you. Always with you in sickness and in health. Through the best times and the worst. All just for you. Let us be your partner. Manulife China Bank Life. Life with a plan. Let us help you get started today.
Binondo, 1920. Here, 100 years ago, men of courage and vision founded China Bank to help a community of struggling but worthy merchants and traders achieve their dreams. They were driven by an impeccable code of trust and respect through the hard times and the good times. That's how China Bank successfully partnered with 5 generations of loyal clients. Today, China Bank keeps pace with evolving technology while remaining grounded on integrity and prudence. China Bank, celebrating the past, embracing the future.
Times change, but values remain.
What makes an organization successful? Is it being a top player in sales and market share? Acquiring new customers? Or generating a healthy income and net profit? It's no secret that to achieve all of these, a company needs its most valuable asset, people. Most businesses have one or more senior personnel whose experience, skills, and knowledge are vital to achieving company goals. Losing them can have adverse effects, including missing company targets, investing in human and monetary resources to find a replacement, and reduced confidence among stakeholders like investors, partners, and customers. One solution to protect your business from all of these is Keyman Insurance. But what exactly is a Keyman Insurance? A Keyman is someone who contributes significant service or talent to the organization and its customers. And a Keyman Insurance protects you against the sudden loss of this key person by providing enough liquidity to ensure continuity of business and aiding the company in recovering from the loss. Many firms insure their premises, equipments, and goods against fire, theft, and flood. But many miss the opportunity to insure their company against the loss of key people who help run it successfully. Manulife China Bank Life can provide you with the innovative Keyman solutions to serve your company's needs. With Keyman Insurance, we'll protect your company from the possible loss of your key people to ensure your continued success. Contact Manulife China Bank Life now to help you get started.